Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Edan Maybon of lightcycleastrology.com. Welcome back to the channel, friends. Today we are doing new moon in Virgo horoscopes for all 12 rising signs. We're going to bring the new moon through each rising sign to find out where it is landing in which house. And the reason that we are doing horoscopes for a new moon, because normally probably doing horoscopes for a new moon is too subtle of a thing to maybe even notice. But because this is a new moon happening in Mercury's sign of Virgo at a time where Mercury is within Virgo, coming to a station to turn into direct motion out of retrograde, it's as if the end of the Mercury retrograde within the sign of Virgo and the coincidence of the new moon in Virgo, it's all speaking to a very powerful new moon that is maybe more extraordinary than just your typical new moon. So we're going to take a look at the new moons today and find out which houses these are landing in based on your rising sign. Before we do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit notifications so you don't miss any videos. Leave me some comments in the comment section, especially if something is resonating for you, or if it is off base and you want to help me out to see how maybe the symbolism is coming through. That is also welcome too. You can always go to my website, lightcycleastrology.com, if you feel like you would like to get some more personal astrological guidance. I see clients usually on a weekly basis and very affordable prices, and we can dig into anything that you're curious about, life purpose, love, moving, health, zodiacal releasing periods, a year ahead look at transits and stuff like that. So you can go to lightcycleastrology.com and get a hold of me that way if you're interested in a reading. Okay, well, let's jump right into it. We'll pull up the real-time clock and we'll start with Aries. We will put Aries on the ascendant, and I've left all of the planets in the chart just so you can kind of see. Maybe we'll pull in some delineations for some of the other transits that are coinciding with the new moon in Virgo. But if you are in Aries rising, the new moon is taking place in your 6th house. And this is the new moon at about 22 degrees. And this is happening September the 14th. And you can see here is the S right by Mercury here. Mercury's delineation of degrees here. You see the S is indicating that Mercury is stationing to turn direct. So this is a really powerful omen that there is very powerful Mercurial / Virgo types of things that are, entering some kind of new cycle ahead that is positive and moving forward. So if you are in Aries rising, this new moon happening in the 6th house, you get the sense that for Aries rising, a 6th house is going to be more cerebral, and it's as if that quality of doing hard work or service or getting things done, getting back into action and things like that, it's as if there was a process that was being revamped, worked out, planned for, analyzed, calling into question, that had something to do with either health or with figuring out how do you tackle the new section of a project. Sometimes the 6th house has this relationship to these projects that seem to go on and on, or like kind of the doldrum day-to-day workload that you have at work or something like that. But it was a house associated with slavery, because you imagine slaves out there just toiling and there's no end to the toil. So that connotation with misfortune or accidents and injuries, the joy of Mars that is associated with the 6th house, the toil or slavery, you get the sense that there's something that may be kind of related to the harder things in life that you may be working towards or working on continuously, something that may have to do with health or something like that. And it's as if there was a period during the Mercury retrograde, during that house, that was speaking to how do you spend some time regrouping, reorganizing your thoughts, getting to know like what is the plan going forward. And it was like there was a needed break or pause where you could figure out what to do next. Mercury is stationing to turn direct now. There's a new lunation cycle that is unfolding from that place. So it is definitely speaking to a time moving forward that is going to be related to something like, okay, I know exactly how to tackle the next section of work that I need to do. It may not be understanding the full like beginning and end of a project, but it's like if there has been trying to figure out, okay, I'm overwhelmed by this huge thing and I need to work on it, and I'm not sure how to do that. Now might be the time where there is a little bit of a new seed that is coming through that is maybe bringing in some innovation into that process, especially as Mercury is turning direct. One reason for this is because this new moon is also being featured by a aspect to it from Uranus at 22 degrees of Taurus. So there's a real Uranian quality to the new lunation cycle ahead that may bring in some kind of innovation or surprise. And because it's a trine, it's almost like it's going to be of benefit somehow. So it's like taking a plan forward, taking the planned approach that you've been working on and having that meet with some kind of almost like innovation or out of the blue idea that helps you break free and understand how to tackle the next leg of the process, maybe, something like that. Of course, this could have something to do with health or recovering from sickness, especially Mercury retrograde turning direct and having that aspect from Uranus could also be speaking to like a breakthrough in health that allows you to know how to help your recovery or just sickness, waning away just in general. So a pretty positive thing, I think. Mercury exalted after the retrograde is going to apply some beneficial things, I think, and that Uranian energy is going to just add to the quality of getting unstuck or out of a rut somehow. So if it's been a time of sickness or disease or accidents or injury or something that is stopping you or holding you back or making you feel like you're a slave, there may be that feeling of like, okay, something is breaking loose and I'm getting out of this now. So that is what I have for Aries risings. If you're an Aries rising, that is maybe where you could start delineating from those sixth house topics of service and hard work and projects that are endless and perhaps sickness or health. Okay, so let's go ahead now and we'll put Taurus on the ascendant. This is going to move the new moon into the fifth house, where Mercury is stationing to turn direct and receiving that trine from Uranus, from Taurus in the first house. So for me, I get the sense that, obviously the fifth house has to do with usually how we recreate ourselves. A lot of the times that is us literally recreating ourselves in the form of children, but it doesn't have to be children. It can be any expression, any way that you are creative or recreate something that is sort of a reflection or an image of yourself. So whether that's any project that you do that's like you would consider like your baby project or anything like that, that creative energy is really entering a new phase, and it's going to be building out of the fifth house over the next month and perhaps even longer because Mercury is stationing to turn direct. So there's a process of like maybe where the creative energy had gone through maybe trying to take a while to understand what is the next step in creating something, or how do I move forward with my children, or reintegrating children back into the school year. But that process of Mercury retrograde probably had something to do with creativity or fun and recreation or children. And there was maybe like a lag time where things were unclear, or there was an integration that needed to happen, or something around that sense of things like stopping for a while or moving backwards. Now Mercury retrograde moving direct could signal that things like children recovering if they're sick or being reintegrated into the school system. Now you're not watching them all day long if they were at home during the summer, or something like that. Or a time where Uranus making that trine back to the new moon could represent a breakthrough of some kind where there's a liberation in just the creative flow. Uranus being located in the first house, if you're a Taurus rising, it's as if there's some part of you that's not normally opened or so flexible or free, or there's some expression that is just liberated, and that is lending itself to the creative process. So if like you're an artist, this could be a time where it's like, man, the creative juices are just really flowing and they're coming back online, and that is going to see the new lunation cycle ahead if you are a Taurus rising. So I would look to those types of things. The creative process getting back, on track or going again with some innovation coming into it. Children, and also maybe fun or recreation, feeling like there's some liberation to enjoy life in the cycle ahead. Okay, let's roll forward to Gemini, and we'll put Gemini on the ascendant here. And this is going to place the new moon in Virgo into the 4th house, a cycle that will expand out of the roots around the base. And we see that Mercury is stationing to turn direct in this house. And we're also receiving a trine from Uranus in Taurus from the 7th house over to the new moon. I'll be honest, this trine from Uranus was a little baffling to me, trying to understand how does liberation or breakthrough come from a place of secret shadow, things working against you, hidden enemies, ways that you work against yourself, or like some self-destructive tendencies or something like that. And it makes me wonder if, sometimes, do they call it a happy accident? It's something maybe like that, where it's like something you do that would normally not be good, somehow lends itself to maybe presenting a choice or a different circumstance within the topics of home, family, parents, maybe property, like renovations, or figuring out different schedules for everybody in the home or family, or how everything is working, or maybe moving and finding a new place to live, or something 4th house related, that it's almost like there's like a happy accident. It's like, okay, for instance, let's say you're in a hurry and you are late to work and you get into an accident with somebody. And now normally that would be kind of a bad thing. But then the person, the car that you hit, the person that is driving that car, they give you a phone number to the most wonderful home, and you've been looking for a home and you're all stressed out. And it's like somehow there's this weird twist of fate or fortune that would normally be bad, but it might lead to something that seems liberating, that might have to do with circumstances in the home, or with family, or parents, or with property. So that's kind of an interesting thing. There could also be the ability to learn very surprising secrets, like family kinds of secrets that become revealed now at this time. And there's like the new cycle ahead is all about exploring these deeper family connections that you didn't know were there, like visiting ancestry.com and learning that you had like an uncle who was, like, I don't know, like the best car thief in New Jersey or something, something 12th housey that's mixing with the 4th house and possibly ancestry or something like that. So if you are a Gemini rising, I would love to hear some stories about the new moon and how that unfolds, if you want to share, because this is a really interesting and unique combination between the 12th and the 4th like that with Uranus. Okay, let's go forward, and we will put Cancer on the ascendant. If you are a Cancer rising, this new moon is taking place in the 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house by ancient astrologers was called the joy of the moon. And that's because the 3rd house is very close to the 4th house. And the motion of the earth brings things out of the 4th house and rotates them clockwise. That's how the wheel spins in real time. In the daily sense, it spins clockwise, but the planets are actually traveling in their orbits the opposite direction. So we get significations from the 3rd house where the daily motion is bringing things out of the home place, but the orbital motion of the planets around the sun are intending to go back towards the home. So the 3rd house has this connotation with being somehow connected to the home, the family, the regular environment that is sort of just around your immediate day-to-day routines or rituals. If you go to the same place, or your trip back and forth to your commute back and forth to work, or things like that. So there may have been something that has been changing in that regular routine or ritual environment that maybe was a little chaotic, maybe was going through a period of revamping or resetting. And sometimes the everyday environment can have to do with the inner landscapes of the mind too. So there could be this process that was taking place in the mind that might have something to do with like if you were working in a advertising firm and you're really working really hard on some kind of new advertising pitch or something like that. The third house had that connotation of circumambulation by lunar things, merchandising, connecting places that are local to you, or siblings because they're connected to the home or the commute. All of these third house types of things are entering a period where something that may have been stuck or felt like it was having to go through a process of revamping itself is now hopefully there's some new ideas there. There's some new energy that is moving things forward in that place. And Mercury stationing direct is going to bring the plan forward on the mundane or ritualistic everyday life level. That could be really, really good. Now, receiving that trine from Uranus from the 11th house, it's as if there may be people like benefactors, people that are supporting you or are in your professional organizations or your friend groups that are going to come through with some unusual help, unusual ideas, unusual resources, unusual opportunities. There's that Uranian out of the blue quality that is like, hey, there's something good that's going to help you out. And it has something to do with you selling things if you have that kind of work, or writing things if you have that kind of project happening, or figuring out how to get everybody to the bus on time and go to work, or whatever it is, whatever that third house immediate environment, a thing that is being represented by the third house with the new moon that is going to influence the cycle ahead. Uranian things are coming in and sort of giving a lot of support. There could be somebody that comes in and says, oh, I can do that for you. And then that frees you up to do this. And then you don't have to worry or whatnot. Something like that is happening. So look for beneficial things from groups, friends, allies, benefactors, people that can support you out of the blue, coming in and supporting the new lunation cycle ahead that has to do something with getting things back on track within the immediate environment, or things that have to do with merchandising, selling, advertising, writing, maybe the mental organization of our thoughts or projects that are happening in a technical way. That's what I would say for Cancer rising. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll put Leo onto the ascendant. Now, if you're a Leo rising, this is going to move the new moon into the second house, or rather the new moon will take place in your second house, a house connected to finances, resources, the ways that we spend money, save money, earn money, the skills that we use to do all of those things, and sometimes helpers. So this is good because when you have a new moon happening in the second house, it's as if there's a new cycle ahead that is going to be focused on what can you do to shore things up in the financial realm, right? Which we all need. We all need money. We all need to make sure that finances are running smooth. If Mercury retrograde has been going backwards in that house, it's as if maybe there was a period where money wasn't available, or there was expenses that came up on it, unexpectedly, or something like that. This could be a little bit of the opposite, where when you have a trine being when you have the ray of Uranus, if Uranus does indeed cast a ray, being a modern planet, that is, but when you have a trine from Uranus to the new moon in the second house, it's like you get a sudden job opportunity. Like your boss says, hey, I really need you to do this, but I'm going to pay you for it. Or you're going to get a raise all of a sudden, and somehow there's a new cycle of money being there. Mercury stationing and turning direct. It's like things are going forward with finances somehow. And there's maybe some unusual things that happen at work or in the career that lend itself to some positive results financially for you. So there could be some other things too. It could be like an idea on what you can do to make money in a different way, a breakthrough in a practice, like somebody that studies or does like martial arts every single day. Would maybe have a breakthrough in their day-to-day practice of doing that, and that would lend them to the skills, and then maybe that gets them closer to being a teacher that can make money teaching classes or something like that, something related to the cultivation of the self and daily practice or daily action. Also, you could see some pretty interesting things with Jupiter and Uranus in the 10th house of reputation. Is there something that might be out of the blue or unusual or surprising with Venus especially turning direct in the first house that lends itself to your reputation improving somehow in a positive way, and then that somehow reflects in your wallet somehow, you know? So something around those topics is coming in for Leo rising. Okay, let's go ahead and put Virgo on the ascendant. Of course, this is placing the new moon into your first house. New moons in the first house with a Mercury stationing to turn direct is 100%, I would think, going to be about something beginning for you. Just generally speaking, this is an indication that there is something new beginning in life. That could be a new relationship. It could be a new job. It could be that you've graduated or gotten a degree of some kind, or you're starting to write your memoirs, or you're starting an exercise routine, or whatever it is that has an impact on you in a fundamental way, something that will impact your identity or the character that you feel required to play on a daily basis. That is moving forward in a way that has this new moon kind of energy. There's a new cycle ahead where you envision yourself perhaps in a new way, or there's a fresh way that you see what you can do or who you are, or what you should do in the world, or who you should be for work, or something like that. There's something around a new identity that is emerging in a really positive way. And we are seeing that Uranus is sending a trine over to the new moon as well from the 9th house. So you get the sense that there may be some beliefs that it's like all of a sudden you believe something is possible that you can do, or there's some part of yourself that is like all of a sudden it's like, I don't know where this person has been all my life, but I like this person. Things are going forward and I feel good. I feel like things are possible. I see potential. I see opportunity. It's as if the 9th house is bringing down some affirmation from the heavens and saying, hey, you're a great person and you can do this. Just believe in yourself, and that belief may not always be there, but somehow it seems to present itself. And it's just like sometimes you have these moments where you think to you're just having a really good day, or you're feeling good and everything is clicking, and you think to yourself, I wish I could be like this all the time. This strikes me as kind of that moment where it's just like, if you've been feeling stuck about something, about yourself personally, it's like that thing becomes potentially unstuck. Maybe if you've been sick or dealing with a cold or something like that, you recover and health comes back to you. And there's this sudden, like, the clouds part and you have faith again, kind of a moment. And so that's a positive thing coming up in the cycle ahead, I think, if you are a Virgo rising. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll put Libra on the ascendant. This is going to, actually, let me just move the wheel all the way around because I'm getting too far away from the new moon. There we go. Okay, if you are a Libra rising, the new moon is taking place in the 12th house, Mercury stationing to turn direct. And we are getting a trine from Uranus applying to the new moon. This one, you have to wonder if it doesn't have something to do with a health matter or health issue, or some way in which maybe things have been challenging. Maybe there have been habits or belief patterns or some way in which you've been maybe shooting yourself in the foot or sort of working against yourself. If there's been any way in which you've sort of been working against yourself or been kind of mired in some kind of shadow, maybe trying to recover from a sickness or something like that, this is almost like the moment where that cycle may feel like it's breaking and there's something, there's some new path back to redemption or healing or recovery. And that might be aided by some surprising support from a partner with Uranus in the 8th. Maybe there is just some support or financial assistance that comes through that helps you develop something that helps you get back to a place of health and feeling confident about yourself. So this could be a little bit of a process because this is happening in the 12th house. This is one of those new moons that it right away you may not fully see it for what it is, but as the lunation cycle unfolds, you're going to get the first quarter moon is happening in Sagittarius in the 3rd house, and then the full moon is happening in I don't know if it's it might be Aries, but you're, as the moon unfolds into its different phases, that's really where the recovery takes place in time. So this is probably going to seem a little bit still in the shadows or in the darkness of the subconscious or in the area that is a little bit like a blind spot to you, but it's a positive turn that signals some kind of recovery back to health or getting out of a process of beliefs that don't serve you or behaviors that have been like working against you in some way or another. And so it's a positive thing sort of out of the things that are kind of detrimental to us, and we all have those. We all have those things that we do that just sort of trip us up and cause problems in relationships, or just are the things that don't help us be the best version of ourselves. This is kind of like sweeping that old parody, or not parody, but that old thing where you had the good angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other side, and they're both talking to you. This is like the ability that like the devil guy, he's been real vocal maybe, and you're able to sort of sweep him off. But it takes some time. Like, he doesn't go off right away, but as the moon unfolds into the new cycle ahead, there's maybe a breakthrough in the ability to sort of like push him off or quiet him down in some way and recover in some manner. So that is what I would say for Libra rising. If you are a Scorpio rising, this is my own rising sign now. This new moon is taking place in the 11th house. This place is about groups, goals for the future, guardian angels, the spirit of good luck that comes in that helps propel you up towards some kind of success or culmination in your life. So a new cycle ahead that has to do with new success that is like on the horizon, or like your star is on the rise, kind of, so to speak. And there could be learning that happens that has been a process that it's like all of a sudden you learn how to use your voice more, or you learn how to speak more, or you learn how to articulate yourself more and communicate with friends or networks of people around you. And that skill is developing, I think, and it's receiving a positive trine from Uranus from the 7th. So this could be support from out of the blue by partners, spouses, business partners, or it could be even opponents that used to be working kind of in competition. All of a sudden, something that they do, or something that they say, or some way that they act somehow lends itself to maybe some cooperation that hadn't been there before. So there's some real positive things that are happening that is helping to sort of rise you up to the 10th house, bring you towards success. That may have to do with communications with friends, groups, goals, guardian angels, something along those lines. So a very positive new moon for Scorpio risings for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll move Sagittarius to the ascendant. And this is a new moon that is happening in the 10th house, a place that was connected to career, success, reputation, and judgment. We have a Mercury stationing to turn direct. This is such a positive thing. If there have been things in business, if there have been things in relationships, if there have been things at work or in career that you've been waiting on them, or there's been a process of doing something with it, and it feels like you're ready for the next stage, you're ready for momentum to sort of push that thing towards the finish line. This is kind of that moment where you run through the ribbon and it breaks, and you've reached the finish line. This is also a moment where there may be some kind of final judgment that is made, but I think it could be positive because, this is the house of success and we have an exalted Mercury. Now we are receiving a trine from Uranus from the sixth house. So it's as if there are new innovations within that mundane or hard working mentality that helps you push things forward one last leg of the journey. The final leg is happening, and all of a sudden there is some bright support that is coming from the ability to dig deep and work for it, or you get help from an employee that works for you that sort of helps you push things towards the finish line or something along those lines. But it's definitely a signature of success, and there's some help potentially coming from either hard work or fortuitousness, or even like employees or people that are coworkers perhaps, or something along those lines. So you get the sense that definitely a positive thing that is happening for sure if you are a Sagittarius rising. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll drop Capricorn on the ascendant. This is placing the new moon in your ninth house. We have Mercury stationing to turn direct in this house, and we also are receiving a trine from Uranus in Taurus in the fifth house back to the new moon. So the new lunation cycle ahead that is going to be unfolding, it has the seeds of Uranian things in it that potentially are beneficial or supportive or helpful. So this is almost like a new cycle of belief or a new cycle of getting things published. Perhaps a new cycle of going through a process of coming to some higher rational philosophy or understanding. If there has been work that has been done to get accreditation or something like that, this could be a moment where, like you would see this as a moment where somebody studying for the clergy would, hit a mile marker and get that much closer to developing a way ahead that leads towards their spiritual life or professional spiritual life. This is somebody that is maybe getting a graduate certificate. This could be somebody that is also just experiencing the month ahead as the ability to understand things in a new way from a new perspective that has a higher 30,000 foot vantage point, So that is definitely helpful. And there may be some connection with children that are helping you out. Maybe spending time with children is somehow giving you a broader perspective that helps you understand the bigger details or choices that you have to make in your life. Maybe children are somehow going back to school, or you're being liberated from taking care of children, and it feels like you're able to sort of sit and, wax more philosophical for a time, and enjoy that space. But this is a broad exploration of something higher, and it gives you the month ahead to sort of ponder and meditate and experience something new from a higher place, maybe receive some profound dreams or insights, learning astrology, something along those lines that has a connection to religion or God or higher education or understanding, and having some potential breakthroughs come through to that, either from a creative process or from children, or being liberated by children, or something along those lines. So if you are a Capricorn rising, a very positive place for Mercury to station and turn direct. Are you reading texts that are out of some book that holds a lot of wisdom, a religious text, or are you reading through the doctrines of ancient astrologers or something like that? There's something very technical that is getting going that is going to lend itself to a big learning process ahead, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and move Aquarius to the ascendant, and this is going to place the new moon happening in your 8th house, and Mercury stationing to turn direct also in the same place, and receiving a trine from Uranus in the 4th to the new moon that is taking place in the 8th. So for Aquarius rising, this is really interesting because we have the place of shared resources. We have the place of sometimes feeling like we're being pulled down or held down, and there's some anxiety about the future. If there has been something that has been a fear that you've been working through. Maybe you've been in, seeing a psychologist, or you've been trying to learn as much as you can about something that helps you deal with the fear or deal with the future, or something along those lines. This could be a moment where there is kind of a breakthrough that helps you move forward and deal with scary things that could be you might have to face in the future. This could also definitely be a time where there is just general a general breakthrough in marriage, or of some kind where you receive benefits from others, like an inheritance or something like that, where there's a new cycle head unfolding out of the place of shared resources. Mercury exalted and stationing to turn direct. It's as if money is coming in from some place or some person that may be coming back, or may be coming for the first time, that is somehow giving you an ability to share things with other people in a way that maybe you hadn't had before. So for instance, a partner getting a raise, and then all of a sudden your financial burdens are a little bit lessened because there's more money circulating in the relationship, or something along those lines. So a pretty positive thing if you're an Aquarius rising, for sure. But look for potential financial gains that have to do with partnerships or relationships, or in business, or if you're a manager of funds or anything like that. Look for potential, like if you were owed child support, or if you have paid your taxes and you're expecting maybe some taxes to come back now, or something along those lines. There's some potential monetary gain that could be coming to you through other people, or other resources that are outside of your own. So I would look for that. Now, the trine from the fourth house that is impregnating the new moon cycle ahead from the planet Uranus, that revolutionary, out of the blue, chaotic potential that is happening at the home. It's as if something from the home is lending support to this. So that could be a person in the home that surprises you and tells you, hey, I got a bunch of money. Now I'll share this with you and we can go on vacation like we wanted to, or, something along those lines. But there's some surprising thing coming out of the home or family or with property that may be helping out this, this financial or this beneficial thing coming from the sharing of what other people have with you. The eighth house is also connected to the karmic entanglements that we have with other people. So what other people expect from us, what we expect from them, contracts that we are legally bound to, all of those kind of areas of dependency, either to us or from us to other people. There could be a moment of liberation from those, where all of a sudden some of those expectations or some of those things that are holding it together sort of disintegrate, and it's like maybe there's some liberation out of debt. So that could also be something that comes in too for this new cycle ahead, is maybe you're seeing a way how to refinance the home and lessen the interest rate, or something along those lines, Okay, let's go ahead now, and we will put, last but certainly not least, not by a long shot, we will put Pisces on the ascendant. This is going to give us the new moon happening in the seventh house of marriage, relationships, business partners, things that are final, And also sometimes you see things like travel or competitors. This is really interesting. This could be about, okay, let's just start with this. Sometimes, you're in a competition with somebody, like if you're selling your house, or if you are in, a marathon, or if you're in a courtroom, but some way in which it's you against somebody else, and there's kind of this competitor thing that is happening. I really wonder about Mercury stationing to turn direct in here with the new moon. There could be ways in which a competitor gains an advantage over you at this time, because Mercury is stationing to turn direct, and Mercury is the seventh house ruler. So there could be Mercury representing a competitor that is able to sort of break free and go forward and sort of gain the upper hand in a negotiation, or in a settlement, or something like that. So that might not be so good for you, but that is one possibility. Now, the other thing that could be happening is there could simply be something that is happening with a partner that is good, some new job or new position or something that is happening of benefit that is sort of new in their lives, and as their partner, you're sort of in the mix, right? You're sort of witnessing something happening good to them. So it could be just about your partner. Like if your partner was sick and they, you had to take care of them or something like that over the last week or so, this could be them getting better, Mercury recovering from illness or something like that. And in the cycle ahead, things just get better for the partner in some way or form. That's one possibility. Of course, we could see very, very interesting. We could see Uranus making that trine back to the new moon. The new moon in the 7th is seeded with this Uranian kind of energy. So there is something that is potentially out of the blue, uncanny, some kind of innovation or breakthrough that might be coming from a sibling, or might be coming from a way in which you're able to keep a routine, a mundane, day-to-day kind of ritual that is lending support to your partner. So for instance, this could be a situation where something that you normally have to do every day, all of a sudden you don't have to do it anymore. Somebody else takes care of it, or it just doesn't need to happen. And this could support the relationship. So like an example of this is we signed our son up for soccer, and he goes with his mom every other weekend. And so Kate and I, we had to, ask his mom, like, hey, do you mind taking him to soccer on your weekends? Because it's going to be every weekend. And so he goes to his mom's every other weekend, and we got to go see him play soccer. But it was the first time where his mom and Kate and I, we were all in one place, and Hailey doesn't usually get to experience all of his parents, everybody that loves him, in one place like that, because, we basically just like hand him off, and then we go back and we let Hailey and his mom like have their time. And this could be a situation where something like that in the regular routine or ritual changes, but it lends itself to things being better for the partner. So somehow, for like in this example of the soccer thing, for Kate and I, it was kind of nice to, we had our own time, and we got to watch Hailey, but we weren't like, when he got hurt on the field, we didn't have to like, run up and be the ones to immediately, take care of him or do that, because we were like, hey, this is her time. Let her be a mom right now. We don't want to interfere with that time. So this could be an example of something like that, where there's something that changes in the environment, something that is liberated or freed up in the regular everyday situation that somehow is of benefit to the relationship or to your partner, which is a positive thing that's going to also, filter down to you as a person within the relationship. So that is what I have. If you are a Pisces rising, some interesting delineation like that might be on the horizon. If you are a Pisces rising, because this is such a unique signature in the chart here, I would love to hear any stories that you have. Okay, well, that is what I have for all 12 rising signs. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I will be back next week for another astrology video. We'll go into another Mantic Monday, and drop in the comments anything that you've noticed about the new moon. Would love to hear it, and I hope you guys have a really great week and a new moon. And until then, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.